Hello students, greetings of the day. From the last few lectures, we are discussing our unit number 2, software engineering, software requirement engineering and analysis. In today's session, we are going to discuss a topic that is requirement management. We all know that while developing any kind of software or while going through the development of any kind of software, the requirement is going to play a very important role. Okay, so the requirements that we receive from the different types of stakeholders, those requirements should be managed, right? And how that requirement we are going to manage, that we are going to discuss in our today's lecture. Okay, so the today's topic that we are going to discuss, requirement management. In that we are going to discuss how we are going to manage the requirements. Actually, we are going to discuss the definitions, requirement management definition, then where we can use, where we can imply this requirement management, which are the important phases where this requirement management should be used, and after that we will see the different kind of requirement management concepts. Okay, so let us start with the definition of requirement management or the requirement management purpose. Okay, so the very basic purpose of this requirement management is nothing but to ensure the organization documents and verify the whether that requirements meets the need and expectations of customer, right? Obviously, the every software that we are going to develop, every software that we are going to build, that depends on the needs and expectations of the customers or the different types of stakeholders. With the help of this requirement management, we are going to ensure the same thing, whether those needs and those expectations of the customers are fulfilled or not. We are going to verify those needs and expectations are meeting to the software, or those software does that software meets to the needs and expectations of those customers and internal and external stakeholders, that we are going to check with the help of such a kind of requirement management. Generally, this requirement management is going to begin with the analysis phase. Okay, from the beginning, where we are going to analyze the requirements that are provided by the different types of stakeholders. From that phase only, we are going to manage such a kind of requirements, right? So this requirement management begins with the analysis and elicitation phase, right, of objectives and constraints of the organization. From the very beginning of requirement gathering, this requirement management phase is going to be start. This requirement management further includes the supporting, planning for requirements, then integrating requirements, and the organization for working with them. So after this initial stage, during the initial analysis and elicitation of your objectives and constraints of the organization, this requirement management again, which is going to help us in supporting the planning for requirements, the every thing or the planning that we are going to do with respect to the requirement phase, planning of requirement. Then after that we are going to integrate all those requirements, right? So at all these phases or at all these activities, we are going to use this requirement management concept. Requirement management is also going to involve the communication between the project team members and the stakeholders, and also the adjustments of requirement changes throughout the course of the project. This requirement management is a very important phase, and during this phase we are going to have the communication between all your project team members as well as the stakeholders as well as customers, all the customers and the internal external stakeholders in between all those team members and all those stakeholders there will be some kind of communication, and with the help of that communication we are going to have the adjustment to the requirement changes throughout our course of the project. Means from the beginning of the that development to the end of that development course of that project, we are going to have this communication during this requirement management. So this is nothing but the requirement management, which is very important in our software development life cycle. We already have discussed one topic, that is requirement traceability matrix, right? With the help of that requirement traceability matrix or requirement traceability table, what we are going to do, we are going to ensure the same thing that we are going to do with the help of this requirement management. With the help of that requirement traceability matrix, we are also going to do the same thing, whether all the requirements that we are having have been finished or not, have been tested or not, right? So think the same thing we can do with the software engineering, or with the help of this software engineering concept, that we can ensure with the help of this requirement management, we can ensure that all the needs and expectations of customers and internals and external stakeholders are meets with your software. Okay, so this is requirement management. There are some examples. Following are the examples of traceability table. We already have discussed the requirement traceability matrix, which is used in your software testing. Just like that traceability matrix, we are also having the different types of traceability table. The first one is there, that is feature traceability table, which is going to observe that the product that you have developed and the product features, the features of that product, and we are going to make sure that how it is closely related to the customer's requirement, right? So with the help of this feature traceability matrix or the feature traceability table, we are going to observe, we are going to ensure that all the features that customers require have been implemented in our system. Then second we are having, that is source traceability table. With the help of this traceability table, we are going to use such a kind of traceability table to identify the source of each of the requirement. We are going to identify the main source of that requirement, from where that requirement have been arise, that we are going to check. Then next that we are having is dependency traceability table. With the help of this dependency traceability table, we are going to observe the relationship among the requirements. We are having multiple requirements, and in such a kind of cases, these requirements may be dependent on each other. For that purpose, we are going to have this dependency traceability table. From the help of this dependency traceability table, we are going to observe the relationship among those requirements. Then next is subsystem traceability table, which help us to classify the requirements as per subsystem they govern. Means with the help of this, we are going to make our software system as an hierarchical way. We are going to divide it into the different subsystems. So for that purpose, this subsystem traceability table we can use. And the last one that we can have is interface traceability table, which indicates the internal and external system interface relate as per the given requirement. Okay, so these are the different types of examples that we can use for the traceability table. Okay, so this is all about your requirement management. This requirement management plays a very important role from the beginning of our software development to the end of that software developments. Okay, so this is all about our today's topic. In the next lecture, we will discuss the another topic. Thank you very much.